Hare Krishna, good morning my dear Prabhus, dear Matajis. Welcome sa ating Braj Bhakti Academy, Monkey in the Middle podcast, the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. And another morning, another wonderful topic. Thank you very much for joining our morning Japa session. And hello, good morning kay Ron Prabhu, Charles Prabhu, John Mataji, Kanai Krishna, Riza Mataji, Sham Mataji, Rokmini Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hello kay Sitala, good morning. And of course, my dear God brothers, Radhanath Prabhu and Navadip Chandra Prabhu. Magandang umaga. Yes. So, you know the drill. We should start our study in Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, we should start everything, our day, by paying our obeisances sa ating mga spiritual teachers to be in the right mood, the mood of request, and the mood of humility. So, join me as we recite the invocation mantras. Hindi yan. Saan na nga? Yes. This one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Priyashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamas Loke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Ang nakaraan sa ating study ng Srimad Bhagavatam, still, nandun tayo sa sobrang importanteng part where Mother Kunti is praying to Lord Krishna. And sobrang importante niya, it was extracted to become a book. It is called The Teachings of Queen Kunti. And yung prayers niya nandun din, which is nandun yung section natin. We are reading, continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. First Canto, Creation. If you have this book, part 2 na to. If you don't have yet, let me know. Chapter 8, titled Prayers by Queen Kunti. And continues yung prayers ni Queen Kunti from glorification, from some other different perspective ng greatness ni Krishna. So we are now at yesterday we talked about the fear first personified. Pero natakot siya kay Mother Yashoda. So this is, sabi nga, bewildering even sa great devotee niya na si Queen Kunti. So we are continuing sa text number 32. Yan. Some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of pious kings, and others say that he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malaya Hills. If tama yung pagkakaalala ko, Malaya Hills, ito yung Malaysia ngayon. And sobrang grabe daw yung sandalwood. It was the capital of sandalwood during this time. And again, dati, isang buong mundo. May isang buo pa rin naman siya. Pero hindi siya hati-hati by country, different boundaries. And we have only one emperor. And the others will have kings in different states. So sabi dito, some are thinking, ito yung reason bakit ka bumaba Krishna dito. To please the other kings. One of it is si Yadu. King Yadu. Kaya tinatawag silang Yadu Dynasty. Or minsan natawag silang Kuru Dynasty. Kasi nasa line nila yun. Pinakita natin last time, meron tayong family tree sa Srimad Bhagavatam. And bago dumating kala Krishna, makikita mo sila Yadu doon, King Yadu, even si Bharat, tapos makita mo rin si Kuru doon. So, ayun yung mga name nila. Ang sinasabi nila, this reason daw, bakit bumaba si Krishna to please yung mga king. Hindi sila mga normal na mga president or king lang. They are saintly kings. And there are also leaders ng preaching ng Krishna consciousness that time. And that is one of the duties daw ng mga leader is to propagate yung spreading ng higher consciousness or Krishna consciousness sa buong sinasakupan niya. And an emperor, yung buong hawak niya is buong mundo kasi he's the king of the world. So yeah, sinabi ulit dito is the word is material world is bewildering. Mahirap maintindihan. What more pa yung appearance ni Krishna? Ito yung sinasabi nila, reason na pagbaba ni Krishna. And dito sa purport, it was established, sabi ni Sri Prabhupada, kaya sobrang importante yung saintly kings. When there is a pious king ruling over the world, the people are happy. Tignan nyo kung makaka-relate kayo dito sa next term. When the ruler is impious, the people are unhappy. But only, of course, dito sa age of Kali Yuga, laging impious yung kings. Hindi sila qualified, hindi sila trained as leaders, hindi sila saintly, tas wala silang saintly advisors. Tas full of vices pa sila. Basically, yung qualities ng pagiging leader and much more saintly leader, wala na doon. Yung activities pa nila, wala din doon. So, automatically, yung citizens are unhappy. Sabi nga, therefore, the citizens are also continuously unhappy. So, that is sobrang importante yun, that leadership. Even sa bahay, if yung leader sa bahay is, pious or saintly or what you can call good leadership, masaya yung buong bahay. What more pa yung buong country? What more pa yung buong mundo? So, isang perfect example dito si Yudhishthir. Kaya ginorify niya yung nakaraan and i-glorify niya. Spoiler, no? So, text number 33. Tapos, later, if my dear Prabhus could share. Text number 33, tuloy lang natin. Ito yung isang iniisip ng ibang tao na bewildering sa kanila. Bakit nag-appear si Krishna? Habang kinakausap ni Kunti si Krishna, he said this. She said this. Others say that since both Vasudeva and Devaki, yung parents ni Krishna that time, prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet you take birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. So yeah, si Vasudeva sa si Devaki, previous life nila, sila si Sutapa and Prishni. Tapos nag-perform sila ng grabing penances just to beg na si Krishna yung maging anak nila. Grabe, diba? So, if may glimpses tayo na relationship kay Krishna as parent or parents, they're begging, hindi lang nila wino-worship si Krishna as son nila, they're begging talaga maging anak nila. We can be following their footsteps, pero hindi natin makapalitan yung position ni Devaki at ni Vasudeva. Even, of course, ni Nanda Maharaj at ni Mother Yashoda. So this one, iniisip din nila ng mga tao, bakit ito yung reason? Aside dun sa pag-kill ng demon, aside dun sa, sabi ni Prabhupada dito, para sa welfare ng mga tao. And may isa pang sinabi si Queen Kunti, na anong iniisip ng tao pa, bakit nag-appear si Krishna. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish trouble. Son, ibig sabihin, kasi si Krishna expanded himself into the three Vishnus, and one of it is called Narayan or Garbhodakasha ni Vishnu, kung saan pinanganak si Brahma sa lotus flower coming from the navel ni Garbhodakasha ni Vishnu or Narayan. Sabi nga dito, he's the firstborn being. Kaya ano natin siya, anong tawag na to? Great unlimited great grandfather, no? Kasi sa kanya galing eh. Pero he was also known as Atmabu. Atmabu, pinanganak siya from the lotus flower sa navel ni Narayan, ni Vishnu. Even nandun si Mother Lakshmi, wala siyang contact doon. Hindi siya napunta sa womb. Pero directly from the father. So, very unique. Very unique. So, ano yung ginagawa nila? Sa maraming malalaman natin sa Srimad Bhagavatam, maraming trouble ikakos yung mga demons. And in different lifetimes. Tapos, magusto mong palagi yung mga demigods kay Lord Brahma. O baka kaya magawa ng paraan. Minsan nagagawa ng paraan, parang bibigyan ng boon, or kakausapin niya. Pero there are times, actually many times, hindi niya magawa ng paraan. All of them will gather. They will go to Setodweep. Doon nakatira si Kshirodakasha Vishnu. Siya yung Paramatma din in everyone's heart. Pero meron din siyang planet. Where he is lying sa ocean of milk. Grabe, no? Hindi ka na problema maghanap ng milk doon sa ocean. Ang dami sigurong panir doon, no? Sa yogurt. May ice cream. Doon lang lahat eh. Anyway, andun sila nag-gather sila doon. Tapos on the banks ng sea, andun sila Bhumi, sila Lord Shiva. Si Bhumi is Mother Earth in the form of cow. Kaya holy cow. Tapos andun si Shiva. All the prominent na mga leaders and demigods would pray. By the, nililid sila ni Lord Brahma. They will beg for Krishna to incarnate. To reestablish yung mga dapat i-reestablish. And yung gawin yung purpose niya. Yung ibang tao, ito yung iniisip nila. Yung mga reason, bakit bumaba si Krishna. Pero ano ba yung real reason? Malalaman natin from our dear Prabhus. Ano nga ba? Sino ba yung sunod?
Hare Krishna, good morning.
Good morning,
everybody. Wonderful to have your association again. Studying of Srimad Bhagavatam. So yeah, thank you Radha Chandrapu for that reading and sharing. We continue to text number 35. And yet others say that you appear to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned souls suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. So yun yung sinasabi na main reason why. Although, we can appreciate the fact na practically we can say that Krishna is the best multitasker. Di ba? Multitasker, marami siyang kayang gawin. Parang tayo, may experience tayo na we're also multitasker in our own right, in our all small ways. Parang ganun naman lagi eh. Si Krishna, Supreme Controller, tayo may pagkakontroller din tayo. Yung mga bagay na nakaka-control natin. Pero hindi tayo Supreme. So kung meron tayong multitasking na ability, actually nanggaling lang din kay Krishna natin. Yung multitasking ability niya is the Supreme. Because yung ginagawa niya is actually to always please the devotees and to reestablish religion. Diba, may mga backstories, bakit siya pinanganak, dinidescribe ni Queen Kunti. Kasi yung parents niya, si Devaki and Vasudev before was, naggawa sila ng penance and austerities. And then in the next life, magiging anak nila si Krishna. So, finulfill ni Krishna yon. And then yung sinasabi ng stories, bakit actually siya nag-appear is because the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, they went to Kshirodakasha Vishnu at the ocean of milk, praying for him. Masyado ng sabi nga ni Prabhupada ng ganda example, yung boat natin will be sinking na. Ang dami ng pasaway. Di ba? Mga unwanted military force and demoniac kings. Nagiging masyadong ano na sila, prominent. Kailangan na namin ng tulong mo, Lord. So, yun, may isang aspect din dun, no? We can say. Kaya parang bewildering kay Queen Kunti kasi ang dami ko naririnig na reason bakit ka talaga nag-appear. Sabi nito, ganyan. Sabi nila, ganyan. Diba? It just goes to show na si Krishna talagang multitasker. Lahat yon simultaneously. Na-fulfill niya lahat yon just by his appearance. To establish the principles of religion. First of all, to give association to his devotees, have some wonderful pastimes with them, to establish the principles of religion, and then to kill these demoniac kings or yung state of the world. Kailangan niya mag-appear para lang ma-balance out niya. Otherwise, too much burden na kay Mother Earth. So, yun yung pwede nating sabihin na the main reason why. Diba, nandun yun sa Bhagavad Gita na verse na whenever and wherever there's a decline in religiosity and a predominant rise of irreligion, diba? I myself appear millennium after millennium. And yung following verse na sinasabi ni Krishna is that to deliver the pious, of course, that's his devotees, and to annihilate the miscreants or these demons, these kings, so-called kings. Diba? I myself appear, sabi niya. And to re-establish. Kasi na-establish na yun eh. Krishna is the one who established the religious principles. Sabi nga nila, actually, the religion is one. Basic lang naman yung religion eh. Religion means to love God. Diba? Every bona fide religion in this world, isa lang naman ang goal eh, to love God. Diba? To serve Him. Diba? Kaya lang, it came in so many different ways. Kasi stubborn tayo. Stubborn yung mga yung mga human beings eh. Sobrang tigas ng ulo, di ba? Kaya kailangan magpadali Krishna ng napakaraming mga incarnations, napakaraming mga forms, kailangan niya maggawa na napakaraming pastimes para ma-convince tayo ulit that He is the Supreme Lord. Our business is to serve Him and to understand Him. Diba? Parang ganun. And to go back home. Ganun. Back to Godhead. Dami niya kailangan gawin. Kaya, yun yung sabi nila na si Lord, parang walang trabaho, No, He's the best, He's the most hardworking person up until now. He's the most hardworking. Remember, He created this, not really created, but through His energies, diba? Binibigyan niya tayong facilities. And now, in this human form of life, it is our best chance to repay Krishna and to be reminded of Krishna, that we do not belong here. That's why, sabi ni Srila Prabhupada, yung in-establish ni Krishna na religious principle, which is hearing, chanting, remembering, that 9 processes of devotional service. If one simply take all of them, or even one of them, is enough for one to go back home, back to Godhead. So, si Krishna rin ang nag-re-establish nun. Si Krishna ang nag-establish nun, and He came to re-establish. Kasi nga, yun nga, marami na masyadong disturbance sa earth. So again, Krishna being the best, being the best multitasker, na-fulfill niya lahat yon by simple actions, but just by taking birth. Lahat yan na-fulfill niya na. So, diba, He's a wonderful God. He's the Supreme Personality of God. It's very wonderful to come to think of it because He really cares. That's just goes to show He really cared for His devotees. Diba, parang pinag-usapan nga natin nakaraan. If there's one thing na may anxiety si Lord, is that anxiety niya when babalik tong devotee ko. And as a loving father, would do anything and everything to allure, the son. Dito ka lang sa akin. You're under my protection. Dito ka lang muna. Maalis, parang gano'n. So, the very loving personality. And then, continue natin sa text number 36. If you don't mind, basahin natin yung Sanskrit. Kasi maganda to. Isa rin to sa mga, I know si Prabhu Jagadananda Prabhu, one of our dear God brother. Very much like a pandit or a scriptural person. Lagi niya itong binabanggit yung verse na to. So, basahin natin yung verse na napakaganda. Shinvanti, Gayanti, Kiranti, Abhikshnashaha, Smaranti, Nandanti, Tavehitam, Janaha. Taeva Pasyanti, Achire Natabakam Bhavatava Hoparamam Padam Bhujam. Translation: O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities, or take pleasure in others doing so, which means pag may nagre-recite ng pastime si Lord, like Shukadev Goswami repeating this to Maharaj Parikshit, or Srila Sutta Goswami repeating to the sages of Naimisaranya, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. So, very wonderful verse. Srila Prabhupada was explaining na just with our eyes, with our material eyes, we cannot see the Lord. Di ba napag-usapan na rin natin ng mga nakaraan na the only way to actually see Krishna is to hear from Him. To hear of Him from His pure devotees. Those who have realized Krishna. Those who have their eyes meron ng ano yan, may yung their eyes are smeared with the salve of love of Godhead. So by their mercy, only by their mercy, we might be able to have an audience with the Lord. And unfortunately, in our present state, we can only perceive that through hearing. But it's not impossible. It's just really depending on how one is parang so much concentrated on his practice of devotion and service. Krishna will reciprocate. If you really have the parang that hankering, strong hankering to see the Lord, of course he will appear. But it has to be unalloyed. It has to be pure. The intention must be pure. And so, dinidescribe lang ni Srila Prabhupada sa purport na, yun nga, that process of devotional service, hina-highlight lang dito kahit yung isa lang, yung hearing, is more than enough to see the Lord and to go back to Him. That's why it's very important that we discuss the Srimad Bhagavatam every day, hear from wonderful devotees, hear from our spiritual masters. So in that way, we can, little by little, yung attachment natin kay Krishna through these stories, through these wonderful examples, is madagdagan hanggang dumating sa point na parang wala na tayong ibang kailangan kundi yun na lang. So, but that is, like the highest, topmost stage. So, that's my thoughts for the 2 verses na binasa natin. Navadip Channel Prabhu, I believe you're next one. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, good morning everyone. So, yun, nakita nga natin si Queen Kunti is medyo bewildered siya, naguluhan siya. So, gusto kong isali kayo sa bewilderment niya. Ma-bewilder din. Kasi kumbaga kung titignan mo, makikita mo sa Bhagavad Gita is yung picture ni Krishna and Arjuna nasa chariot, then golden armor and all. And then ngayon alis na siya. Nag-step up siya sa chariot. Then sasakay na siya ng isang chariot na hindi siya yung driver. Ang driver is yung mayroon siyang driver. Narada yung pangalan. And then, take note, kakatapos niya lang i-save yung mga Pandavas from the Brahmasta, yung unconquerable na Brahmasta na yan na hindi nagmi-miss ng target. Tapos ngayon, dumarating si Queen Kunti, biglang nanghihingi ng tulong. Wait. Hindi pa tayo tapos. May problema pa. May susolve ka pa. Huwag ka muna nga alis. Parang ganun. Tapos, biglang, hindi niya sinimulan ng ganun. Nag-offer siya ng obeisances and prayers na, origin of everything, like this, you are, kumbaga, ikaw yung origin ng parents namin, ng trees, ng moon, ng sun. Lahat sinabi niya, you're outside and inside, you are one place but in another place, and you have, ang dami niya sinabi, pero that person has characteristic. Kaya nga supreme personality of Godhead, na parang yung katulad din natin may characteristic. So practically, makikita natin in the beginning of Bhagavatam. Yun nga, si Krishna is protecting his devotee, the Pandavas. And actually, narinig din natin na he's partial like that. So, pero kung titignan mo yung construction ng prayers ni Queen Kunti, is kilala niya si Krishna, kilala niya yung Supreme, kilala niya yung buong character. Kasi kung ako titignan ko yung before as yung perception ko kay God is bilang lang eh, provider, savior, ano pa ba? Savior, provider, creator. Then what? Ano na? Pero siya detalyado yung pagkaka-describe niya na kilala niya, ibig sabihin may relationship. May relationship. So yun. Pero ngayon, in-express ni Queen Kunti yung bewilderment nga niya na unborn, impartial, pero partial pa rin kasi gusto niyang maging devotee lahat ng living entity. So, ngayon, nga na nabanggit din si Vasudeva and Devaki and then yung sa pastime ni Mother Yashoda na etong supreme na to, si Krishna, is umiiyak in the front of Mother Yashoda. Ano yun, diba? Parang very yun nga, sinasama ko nga kayo sa bewilderment. Tapos, ngayon, sinasabi niya na dito sa text 37. Oh my Lord, you have executed all your duties yourself. Are you leaving us today through where we completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us now when all kings are at enmity with us? Dependent na kami ngayon sa'yo. Tapos, iiwan mo ba kami ng ganito lang? So, pero gusto kong balikan din yung part yung about sa hearing. Bago tayo pumunta doon. Makikita natin bakit lagi sinasabi yung hearing and chanting, worshiping Krishna, remembering. Pero parang isang pinakatutok dyan is yung hearing. Kasi kung matitignan natin yung vision, yung eyes, pwedeng takpan mo eh. Stop mo yung pag-vision, pagtingin. Yung hands, pwede mong iposas, i-stop mo yung activity niya. Pero yung hearing, kahit takpan mo yung tenga mong ganyan eh, kahit takpan mo yung tenga mo, may maririnig ka pa rin. Shhh, ganun. Kahit maglagay ka ng noise cancelling, may maririnig ka pa rin eh. So, ang point dyan, hindi laging open yung ears, hindi may stop yung ears. So ngayon, kailangan siya laging may i-fill mo yung ears ng something which is beneficial to us. Hindi lang yung mga gusto nating marinig na mga kung ano-anong anything material, but anything about Krishna. And actually, yun nga yung sagot doon sa sabi nga repeated birth and death. Is yun, magkaroon tayo ng attraction kay Krishna through our hearing, drinking the nectar through our hearing. In order for us to have the desire to go back home, back to Godhead. Kasi otherwise, sabi ko nga sa inyo before, hindi tayo pupunta sa pinanggalingan natin na probinsya kung wala tayong connection sa mga tao doon or any glories doon na narinig natin. Alam natin, meron tayong bahay sa Olongapo, pero bakit ako babalik doon? Ano bang connection ko doon? Or what? Sino ba yung mga tao doon? Ang pupuntahan mo yung mga tao doon eh. Hindi lang naman basta yung ganda ng place. So, connection pa rin, relationship. So, that's why sabi nga religion is relink relate oneself to God, to Krishna. So, that's why laging finifill tayo ng mga gantong Krishna Katha or Krishna's pastime in order for us na maging attracted doon and then iano natin yun. And then makikita natin 38. As the name, fame, or particular body is finished with the disappearance of living spirit. Similarly, if you do not look upon us, all your fame and activities along with the Pandavas and Yadus will end at once. So, yun nga. Actually, saan ba tayo? Yun nga. Una doon, sinabi yung process ng devotional service, and then yung inaano ni Queen Kunti dito is yung association, desperate siya sa association ni Krishna na taga Vrishni ka, kung hindi ka babalik doon, sila naman ang iiyak. Pagka babalik ka na doon, kami naman ang iiyak. So, sabi niya, ay, hindi, mali. Layo na ako. sorry. So, ayun. Spoiler alert. So, ang point is, inaano niya pa rin yung longing ng association ni Krishna, and si Krishna nga lang yung pinakaano nila, pinakaano natin, savior, or we are all dependent. Kung ilalagay natin yung sarili natin doon sa prayers ni Queen Kunti, na we are all dependent kay Krishna. Especially, yun nga sa hearing na yan. So, I think that's it for now. And then we have more verses to come.
Text number 39. O Gadadhar, Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. So, meron na siyang separation. Magkasama pa lang sila, nafe-feel niya yung separation. And gusto kong ma-point dito kung gaano ka-importante yung impression ng paa ni Krishna. Kung bakit tayo may ganito, may tilak. We're trying to be aspiring na this is the lotus feet of Krishna in the most humble position in that relationship. Na Krishna, I'm part of it. Parang pwede bang impress mo yung lotus feet mo sa akin? And that is one form of tilak. And ganun ka-importante yun. Kung saan lumapag si Krishna, saan siya tumapak, that will be pilgrimage. Holy places. Kung bakit, let's say, ano na yung Jerusalem, kung saan pumunta si Lord Jesus Christ, kung saan siya pumupunta. And ganun din yung nasa culture, they wash the feet, they want to touch the lotus feet, get the dust, diba? Kung bakit tayo nagka-bow down, we want to get the dust ng lotus feet ni Krishna because nandun siya sa temple or nandun sa pilgrimage na yun, or even the pure devotees. That's why we bow down. Ayun yung origination ng bowing down ng lahat ng culture hanggang sa pagmano. So, ganun siya ka-importante. And, yes, hindi biro yung lotus feet ni Krishna, actually. One way to know Krishna descend, pag nag-descend siya, may mga markings. And yung markings sa paa ni Krishna is there. And dyan nga yung may sample doon. Tinan dito, may thunderbolt, may flag, may elephant, may umbrella, lotus, tas may disc. Yung mga incarnation ni Krishna may ganito, even si Srimati Radharani, even si Lord Chaitanya. So if some nagsasabi na God sila, talungin mo, pati patingin ng paa. Diba? Kung ayaw nila ipakita yung universal form nila, kasi that's one way to confirm. Tingnan mo kung may markings yung lotus feet nila. Or kung lotus nga ba yung feet niya. Anyway, this one, sabi nga niya ni Queen Kunti, that place is actually called Hastinapur. Ito yung New Delhi ngayon. New Delhi o Delhi? Pareho lang ba yun? So, ayun yung place ngayon na tatawag na Delhi. So, ayun yung kingdom dati nila Yudhisthira, yung kung nasaan yung kung saan sila. So, this is very important. That's why, ito yung tilak and yung dust. Kaya ganun ka-importante yung dust. Sabi nga, in Vrindavan, kung saan nag-perform si Krishna ng mga pastime niya, sobrang importante yung dust. Lahat ng temexes from heavenly planet, lahat ng kayamanan doon, would not be compared sa one speck ng dust meron sa Vrindavan. Kasi yung dust sa Vrindavan, na-touch yung paa ni Krishna. They're actually going down to roll over dun sa mga dust ng Vrindavan na yun. And there are a lot of prayers by the 6 Goswamis are rolling the dust of Vrindavan. Get the dust, put it in your head. Ay, hindi nilalagay sa kavatsa. Ay, yung nakita niyo yung suot ni Navadip. Ewan ko ano naman, kung mantra yan or minsan dust yun ng Vrindavan. Kasi tinapakan ni Krishna yun. So, ganun ka-importante yun. That's why we bow down to Krishna. We touch the lotus feet. Text number 40. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs, the grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits and the rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Just because of Krishna's presence. Sabi nga, nag-glance lang si Krishna. Kung makikita mo maraming painting ni Krishna, may sidelong glance lang siya. By that, only by that, grabe nagka-flourish na. And we're praying that we could receive that sidelong glance ni Krishna. And magka-flourish din lahat yung heart natin for sure. Ito yung binibeg natin. And even this, di siya figuratively, totoo to, that the purpose ng mountains actually, doon nanggagaling yung minerals. And the purpose ng rivers to bring that minerals papunta doon sa land. And when nagtanim ka doon sa mga land na yon, it will be nourished. Full pack siya ng mga nourishments. And ganun yung nandun yung mga flowers, nandun yung mga fruits. And yung ocean nga daw, doon nagagaling yung mga wealth. Andun yung mga pearls. Diba? Even the glass. Lately ko lang nalaman yung mga glass pala galing sa ocean. No? So, ang dami. Coming from nature. Actually, doon nga daw nanggagaling talaga yung wealth. Compared doon sa nakikita natin ngayon na nag-rise yung mga buildings, industries, and all. Pero it's not abundant with resources. Diba? Maraming big cities. Saan sila kumuha ng resources? Doon sa mga rural areas or sa mga countries na prominent yung mga resources na to. So actually, pabalik. Parang Benjamin Button. Yung movie na yun. Pabalik siya tumatanda. Pabata siya naman. So parang ganun. Pabalik yung society na nangyayari sa atin. We're trying to chase this. Pero yung wealth wala doon. Yung totoong wealth is nasa nature. Sabi nga ni Srila Prabhupada, terrible industry enterprises at the cost of labor of some unfortunate men. Kaya yun yung mga people are working hard. They will give up yung life nila sa province with all the land, 'di ba? Meron sila mga nature to go to the city. Gusto ko makapunta na Maynila. Pagpunta doon, they will work hard just for a piece of yung food na uutangin pa nila. Pero if you go back to the nature at yung binigay ni Krishna, very abundant. Of course, that's what we are meditating upon. That long glances. And ayun yung nilong ni Queen Kunti. Pag wala na yung footprints mo dito, tas wala na yung glance mo, paano na kami?
Hare Krishna. Ito na. Basahin natin. Text number... Malaking jump sa topic. Nung tinatry ko i-connect, bakit napunta si Queen Kunti sa text number 41 at ganun yung sinabi niya. Parang sa akin medyo bewildering eh. Pero of course may explanation yan. Pero di ko pa siya maintindihan kung paano sinabi ni Queen Kunti itong text number 41. Bakit siya nag-arrive sa ganitong prayer? Basahin natin text number 41. Kasi kadugtong siya ng text 40. All cities and villages, di ba? And this all due to your glancing over them. So text number 41. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please, therefore, sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas, and the Vrishnis. Diba? Parang, wait, hindi mo naman nabanggit yun kanina. But parang ngayon, gusto mo na lang mawala. Mawala yung mga tie of affection na yun. Or in other words, ito na, gusto mo na silang i-renounce. Diba? Yan na. Ito na yung actually yung sa text number 41. We have to look at it kung nasan position si Queen Kunti at that time nung sinasabi niya itong prayers. Of course, she's already practically a grandmother. So malamang
Great grandmother na
yata. Great grandmother na siya, di ba? May edad na if we like to understand it that way. May edad na si Queen Kunti. And in position niya na parang yes, naranasan niya na yung buhay ng pagiging yung life na parang flourishing and everything, and then I've already you can say successfully survived all the trials and tribulations that you, Krishna, gave me, you know. Tapos andito na tayo sa position na nakikita kita, pero it seems aalis ka na. Parang nararamdaman niya na yung transcendental feeling na kasi andyan naman si Krishna eh. Why is she, di ba? Parang anong kinakalungkot niya, di ba? Pero just by that act of Krishna leaving, parang nararamdaman niya na everything will be parang wala nang sense lahat kung mawala ka, Krishna. Parang gano'n. So Queen Kunti at this point of her life, bigla niya nabanggit parang sever my tie. Tanggalin mo na. In other words ngayon, i-renounce, gusto niya na mag-renounce. Gusto niya nang pumunta sa renounced order of life. Gusto niyang i-renounce yun kung mawawala ka lang din naman. Parang ganun. So, para maglilid to sa next verse, sa text 42. Pero si Srila Prabhupada na-explain niya na that's why ganun ka-exalted yung position ng mga nasa renounced order of life. Renounced order of life meaning sila yung natural na yun yung dapat natural progression ng isang human being na first you become a student, and then you become a householder, and then you retire, and then at some point you have to just leave everything behind and really focus on on your spiritual journey. That is the renounced order of life, meaning you take on God consciousness very seriously. Diba? Sabi nga if I'm remembering correctly, dapat nga at the age of 50 or 60 dapat ang mga householder nagre-renounce na raw. That's like, yun lang ine-explain na that at that age dapat pumapasok na sa utak ng isang householder na this is it, nagawa ko na siguro yung duty ko, dapat mag-focus na ako. Magre-retire na ako and then i-renounce ko na sila lahat. Pero maraming maraming kalakip na considerations yun. Sabi daw, dapat diniscuss din kasi ni Srila Prabhupada yung false renunciation at saka yung tamang way ng pagre-renounce. So anyway, in all practicalities, sabi dapat at least if one is going to this renounced order of life, if he's coming from a family life, dapat daw the children are insufficient. Dapat may children para may maglo-look after sa wife. Tapos yung children na yun, dapat yung position nila sa buhay is maganda na rin. So that when the husband leaves, there's somebody who will take care of the mother. And syempre, parang kailangan ayusin niya muna lahat yun bago siya mag-take on this journey. Otherwise, parang hindi ma-justify. That's false renunciation na pag ganun. Pag you just leave everything behind. And si Srila Prabhupada nagbigay siya ng magandang explanation na kinig ako kanina. Sabi niya, Parang pag may yung isang tao may trabaho daw, may isang trabaho ka, okay ka lang sa trabaho mo. And then all of a sudden, mag-file ka ng ang tawag dyan, resignation, parang gano'n. You leave your job. Or mawawala ka sa trabaho. O ayaw mo na yung sa trabaho. Dapat daw, ang taong may sense, kung bibitawan niya yon, dapat may something higher siya. May reason siya bakit siya bibitaw din sa trabaho na yan. Otherwise, it's a foolish action na parang hindi mo ma-justify yung reason mo for leaving that particular job. Tapos what? Anong gagawin mo? Papakasasa ka lang ba sa kahirapan or or parang wala bang plano? So dapat daw ang renunciation is because there's something higher. There's something higher ka na pupuntahan, na papasukin. So similarly, parang ganun din sa spiritual life. Na pag yung isang tao is kaya nga kaya mahirap yung position ng mga nagre-renounce kasi marami talaga sila isa-sacrifice. And yung isa-sacrifice niya na yon is actually for a higher purpose, and that is to focus on his Krishna consciousness and preach. Kaya gina-glorify ni Srila Prabhupada yung position ng mga sannyasis that it's not an easy business. It's not an easy parang status of life. You have to be really dedicated. You have to put a lot of time din, parang ganun. And you have to be sincere sa effort mo. Then anyway, so discuss lang doon yung great position ng mga nasa renounced order of life. And si Queen Kunti, parang yun yung na-feel niya eh. Since mawawala ka na naman din, i-renounce ko na lahat yan. Parang tanggalin mo na yung mga affection ko dyan. Bakit? Ito na. Sa text number 42. Kasi sinasabi sila Prabhupada why daw and then why, what to do. So hindi pwede magre-renounce ka and then wala kang reason. Ito yung reason na binibigay ni Queen Kunti. Sabi ni Srila Prabhupada. Sa translation, O Lord of Madhu, the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance. Let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. So that is the reason why one should renounce all this material, or renounce this so-called family ties. Sabi nga Srila Prabhupada, limited and temporary family ties, this material world. That is the reason why dapat yun ang goal ng isang taong nagre-renounce. To really focus his attention is parang one way na lang, kay Krishna na lang. No other consciousness than Krishna consciousness. No more family consciousness, no more business consciousness. Krishna consciousness na lang. So in that way, sinasabi ni Srila Prabhupada, yung sa nakikinig ng lecture kanina, ang title actually ng lecture niya sa verse na to is How to be in the spiritual world, even in this material world. Parang ganon. So in other words, parang in this world but out of this world. Parang ganon. So that is possible by renunciation, by focusing one's attention to Lord Krishna. That's why in-explain din ni Srila Prabhupada na yung mga temples natin, sabi na, kasi at that time nasa Mayapur sila sa India, one of our biggest headquarters there. Sabi niya, you come to this temple, you're not in the material world, you're in the spiritual world. Why? Because we always discuss about Lord Krishna here. We chant His holy names and we associate with devotees. We worship the deities. So you're not in the material world. Kasi sabi niya Srila Prabhupada, it's possible by renouncing the material world and these material affections and attachments, it's possible to already live in the spiritual world, even though you're in this material world. So, ayun yung reason ni Queen Kunti why gusto niya nang i-renounce. Gusto niya nang i-renounce yung so-called family ties niya, even with the Pandavas. Mind you, yung family members niya, hindi naman ordinary. Very exalted, high position sa society. Not only that, they're directly, as indirectly family member ni Lord Krishna. But even then, she felt na pag mawala ka na Krishna, parang wala na rin saysay sa akin yung family ties na yan. So let me just renounce that and let me focus on you. Ito na yung sinasabi ni Srila Prabhupada ng perfection ng renunciation is yung being one-pointed, yung anong tawag dito? Yung focus ng text na to sa number 42 is yung Nanya Vishaya if you see that translation na Ananya Vishaya is unalloyed. So, ano yung tinatawag natin? Pure devotional service. And na-describe din yan sa Nectar Devotion. Andun yun yung word ni Ananya na yan. Diba? Yung Anya Vilasitasyon yan na verse. So that is the perfection of renunciation. We focus on Lord Krishna. Wala nang ibang consciousness kundi Krishna consciousness na lang. And yun yung gustong mangyari ni Queen Kunti sa dinidescribe niya na prayers na to. Navadip Chandra Prabhu, you're next. You say something?
Thank you very much. So, magaling mga ni Radhanath Prabhu, which is connection nga talaga dito na sabi nga ni Radhanath Prabhu, yung pandabas, yung mga hindi ordinaryong mga Krishna conscious din naman sila. Bakit pati yun nire-renounce niya or gusto niyang ikat yung tie? Kasi ang nire-refer ni Queen Kunti doon dito sa text 42 na purport ni Prabhupada. When Queen Kunti wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. Meaning, okay, family members, meron tayong affection. Andun ito talaga yung attachment dun sa mundo, kahit dun sa mga family members natin, even sa loved ones natin. Yung mostly sa skin, kung pag-usapan lang natin yung attraction ng men and women. So, sabi nga, skin deep lang daw yung attraction. Subukan mo tanggalin yung skin. Makikita mo muscles, bones, muscles, bones, blood, mucus. So, bag of skin yung itong material body na to. So, di ba, pag natanggal mo na skin, ayaw mo na. Ay, nasunog, ganyan, ganito. So, mostly sa vision, sense of vision lang yung inaano natin. Sinasatisfy natin and all, or maybe sense of touch. Pero, yun nga pag kay Krishna, kompleto yung buong senses mo na ma-engage sa kanya So, in that way, ang main point doon is yung material bondage. And mind you, tinuturo nga dito sa Bhagavad Gita, sa Srimad Bhagavatam and all, yung lahat ng pastimes ng devotee ni Krishna along with Krishna. Pero ang main point, isang is tinuturuan tayo maging detached dito sa material world. Pero, take note, detachment alone is impossible. Impossible, mahirap gawin. Alam mo dati, yung naging prayer ko na, I want to be peaceful. Ayan, sige, yoga tayo, peaceful, shanti. Hindi naman pala possible yun dito sa material world dahil hindi naman talaga peaceful dito. Magiging peaceful ka for certain time, pero hindi pa rin mamaya, hindi ka gumalaw, sasakit na yung tuhod mo, yung kamay mo. Pag gumalaw ka naman, mababangga ka, masasaktan ka rin. So, narinig ko na yung being longing for peaceful, walang activity, walang is impersonalism pala. Impersonalism. Yung soul is active Active. Full of knowledge and eternally blissful. Kaya siya eternally blissful kasi full of knowledge. So, pag may knowledge ka, marami kang gustong gawin, marami kang gustong ma-discover and all, marami kang gustong activity and all. So, mahirap maging just detached alone or just be peaceful alone, wala kang gagawin. No. Isang technique is to attach. Yun yung sinasabi ni Mother, ni Kunti Devi na, okay, kung hindi pala ito yung totoo sa material world, is maging attached na lang ako sa'yo. So, continuously flowing like a river. Flows like a river to the sea. Yun yung kanta ni Jana B. Harrison. So, yun. Gusto niya tuloy-tuloy. Tuloy-tuloy yung attachment niya kay Krishna. And yes, hindi tayo magiging attached. Mahirapan tayong maging detached dito sa material world unless i-attach natin yung sarili natin to something higher. Yung sabi ni Radhanath Prabhu, na pag nag-resign ka, kailangan may higher purpose. So, pero Kunti Devi concludes in this text 43 is, ito nga. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief among the descendants of Brishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distress of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are Almighty God, and I offer my respectful obeisances. So dito, yun nga, ba't sinabi niya, sinamarize niya lahat. Sinimulan niya ng pag-glorify, ngayon tatapusin niya rin ng pag-glorify at kilalang-kilala niya si Krishna. And then, nag-offer siya ng obeisances. So ganun talaga ang construction. Kaya nga, sabi nga ni Radhacharan Prabhu, nabuo pa yung buong, sobrang importante yung prayers ni Queen Kunti kasi tinuturuan tayo paano mag-pray. Kaya meron pa siyang isang buong book na Prayers of Queen Kunti. So, ang point dyan is, yun, kilala niya si Krishna. Ito ang way ng pag-pray with all relationship and all. And then, still, kahit na ganun ka-bewildered and all, I still offer, ako pa rin yung devotee mo. So, nothing else. So, in the text 43, Sutta Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed in choice of words for his glorification, madly smiled. That smile was enchanting as his mystic power. So yun, simpleng smile lang. Marirelieve na tayo. Yung, alam mo yung ano natin, yung mga loved ones natin na nag-ask tayo ng forgiveness or maybe whatever na gusto nating sa kanila. Tapos pag nag-smile na sila, tapos na. Kahit di na siya sumagot, okay na-please ko na or what. O, basta yung alam mong favorable na siya pag nag-smile na siya. So, para hindi natin ma-spoiler alert yung sa next for tomorrow, that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Jai, napakaganda. And we are meditating and praying that our service to Guru, to Krishna, and the devotees, and our love to Krishna magtuloy-tuloy, even all the obstacles, even all the challenges and struggles, which are normal, by the way. We're praying na mag-flow siya tuloy-tuloy, like a river, to the sea. Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My heart flows like a river, Ki Jai. Whatever naman na. Thank you very much, Navadip Chandra Prabhu and Radhanath Prabhu. Wag pala kayo magkataka pag gumagaling yung mga ulo namin, gesture lang ng ng Indian gesture yun na go. Hindi siya no, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Good morning.